Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to create the 3D letter H, which can be used as a treat holder if you leave the top left section open, or if you seal it, it can be a home decor piece. I'm showing you all the pieces here that come within your cutting file, and this little section I've got in my hand needs to be attached to the bottom of either one of these two pieces that I'm pointing out here. Now I chose to put mine on the one that's got the little thumb notch cut out at the top, and that section goes on the left hand side of the letter H. So the size of this little piece is very similar in width and height. So when you are sticking it to the bottom of one of the longer sections, just make sure that you've got the width the same as the long strip. Now I'm using a combination of Stampin' Up! Seal and Tombow multi-purpose liquid adhesive here, and I'll be using that for the bulk of this project, but as the project goes on I just end up using the liquid glue. So now you need to get one of your sections of your letter H, and with the cutout at the top on the left hand side you want to now put adhesive of your choice along these glue tabs. And on this section here now you'll see that there are now 4 pieces. This is going to take you down the left hand side of the letter H, across the bottom, up into the gap, and then along into the middle of the H. And then the other piece that's the same as this, you start sticking it on from the right hand side of the letter H, and it will join in that middle section. So I'm just showing you here how I've started to line it up. Now the first piece that you put on is the most vital piece that you get stuck down correctly, because that will determine how everything else goes together. So just take your time applying this first piece. Make sure it lines up at the top, make sure it lines up at the bottom, and make sure that the edges all line up, as you can see here. And now I'm just going to carry on sticking this section around as I'm showing you here up to that middle bit. So again, I'm just going to apply a combination of my Stampin' Seal on these glue tabs and my Tombow multi-purpose liquid adhesive. So basically what I'm doing, I'm applying the Tombow and then I'm putting the liquid adhesive over the top of it. This way, when I come to stick these glue tabs to this front section of this letter H, the dry adhesive, the Tombow adhesive, will grab, and then the Tombow liquid adhesive will give it a more permanent hold. So as you can see, I'm pressing it down, I'm getting it into place, and then I'm just positioning it with my bone folder and making sure it all lines up. And then I'm just going to carry on with the next 2 sections. Okay, so that first and second piece that we attached together is now stuck to the letter H. So now I'm going to take the other piece and I'm going to start at the top right and take this piece down along to the left, up into the middle section, and join it to the piece that's in the gap of the horizontal section at the bottom. So again, just using my dry adhesive with the Tombow liquid adhesive over the top, I'm going to stick this section down now from the top right of the front section of the letter H. And again, you've got to make sure that you get this in place and all lined up, because this will determine how everything else will go together. So you can see here, I'm just folding it over and making sure it's all lined up before that wet adhesive grabs, pressing it all down, burnishing it down so that it's held into place. And then I'm going to put the next 2 sections in, and then you can see where this middle section is going to overlap, and that will complete 3 sides of the letter H. So now it's a case of putting the top section on, and the top section is this piece that's got 5 equal size shapes. One end is slightly more angled than the other. The end that's not as angled is the end that's going to be the opening if you want to use this as a treat box. So that little end glue tab, you'll see that one of them is cut more angular, and that's to then stick on the top right hand section of this letter H. So now I'm working from right to left, and I'm going to put again dry adhesive with the Tombow over the top on this right hand glue tab and the bottom glue tab. So I'm going to stick this now to the top right hand section, as you can see me doing here, and then once that section's in place, I'm going to be working along the top front of the letter H. So I've got that one in place, and now I'm just working on this next glue tab, and then I'll work my way along, as I say, working from right to left, just doing a little bit at a time. And I've made a couple of these now, and I found that using the dry adhesive with the Tombow on top is a little bit easier. But for this section, because I was manoeuvring it around, I've just decided to use Tombow on its own. It just gave me a little bit more wiggle room and a little bit more time to kind of get this piece into place. So you'll see now that I'm going to be coming down the inside of the top half of the letter H, and you can see that I'm moving the card about. And as I say, take your time with this, because the more time you take, the easier and nicer your shape will go together. So you can see I'm positioning it, then I'm pressing it down slightly. With my left hand, I'm pressing it from the underside as well to let that adhesive grab. And then again, I'm going to work my way across and up, but don't stick that last left hand top section if you want to use it as a treat box. So you can see here now I've got this last little tab that I'm going to put the adhesive on and stick it to the letter H, and then the last tab and the one on the end are the bits that will just fold in without being glued if you want to use this as a treat box. So I'm just making sure that I'm pressing all the adhesive down and getting this all into place. Again, I'm just going to burnish it from the inside. I'm just checking over here to make sure it's all lining up. I've got adhesive all over my fingers, so I'm trying to wipe it off on my silicone mat, as you can see. So now, if you're going to use this as a treat box, as I say, don't put glue on that tab where the little thumb hole is, or that last horizontal glue tab. You can see I'm just jiggling with my box here just to get that last glued section in place. So this is how your treat box will go together if you're going to use it as a treat box, by leaving this section open. I actually decided in the end to glue mine down and just have mine as a decoration. But as I say, leave the glue off those 3 end glue tabs if you are going to use it as a treat box, so you can get into it. So now it's a case of getting the other letter H section and then gluing it down onto the back piece. So if you've assembled all the front section and it's all lined up nice and square, putting this piece on is really simple. All you need to do is apply your adhesive and stick it down as I'm showing you here. Now again, I decided to use a combination here of dry adhesive and Tombow multi-purpose liquid adhesive, and I just went round the edges with the dry adhesive, just applying a very thin section. As you can, I don't know whether you can see here or not, but half of my adhesive runner is on the cardstock and half of it is on my silicone mat. So I'm just applying a very thin bead because those glue tabs are about 1/2 inch wide, so I didn't want to put too much width of glue on this, if that makes sense, and then end up having all glue on the inside of the box, because if you are going to use it as a treat holder, you don't want anything sticking to the inside. So again, I'm just applying a very, very thin bead of the Tombow multi-purpose liquid adhesive over that dry adhesive. This just gives you a little bit more wiggle room when you go to put this down, rather than having the dry adhesive as an instant grab. And you'll see that I'm going around all the edges with my Tombow over where I've just put that glue runner, and then this is just all going to line up onto the back of this letter H. So I'm going to start in the top left hand corner and get one of those letter H sections in place. You can see I'm just pressing it down gently, not too firmly, because you will still have a little bit of wiggle room with having that Tombow liquid adhesive. And you can see there that I'm just making sure it all lines up, and that's now in position. You can see the opening now, so if you were going to use this as a treat holder, you can see the little opening, but I did decide to apply glue and glue this section completely down. So that's it all stuck together now. I'm just going to bring my bone folder in, and I'm just going to kind of burnish over the 2 tabs that I've just put the glue on the inside, because obviously you can't get your hand inside this now. So I'm just kind of rubbing gently with my bone folder to make sure that that's all completely sealed. And then it's going to be a case of decorating it up with the matting layers. Your cutting file contains all the matting layers. The finished size is 6 by 6 square, and I'll just go through the matting layers very quickly and then show you how I'm going to decorate it up. Okay, so that's all the matting layers on. So now I'm going to decorate mine with some rolled paper flowers. I've used a combination of papers from the Stampin' Up! Tea Boutique 6 by 6 Designer Series paper pack, and I've cut all these flowers using one of the inbuilt designs, which is on my ScanNCut SDX 2200 Disney, and I've actually glued the bottom of them all with hot glue, and I'm going to hot glue the leaves on as well. Again, the leaves are all in my ScanNCut machine. You'll probably have leaves in your model ScanNCut machine, and the leaves have been cut from our 2022 to 2024 in colour glimmer card. I've cut 3 sets of leaves in the Parakeet Party green and 2 sets of leaves in the Starry Sky dark blue glimmer card. Now, if you've not got these rolled flowers in your ScanNCut machine, in the accompanying blog post on my website applelover53.co.uk, I will post you a link to where you can get an SVG file for rolled flowers. But these flowers are definitely in my model ScanNCut machine, so you'll just have to check whether they're in yours. So it's just a case now of, you can see that I've kind of laid them out here. I'm kind of happy with how it all looks, and I'm just going to hot glue these into place. So that's all put together now, all hot glued in place, and I think it's looking really pretty. Just need to kind of get rid of some of the glue strings, and I just wanted to add a little bit of an embellishment, but not too much. So in my stash I've got some blue Tahitian tied, I think they are, or maybe balmy blue, but it works with this Tahitian tied paper anyway. I think these may be retired now. I think they were from the Gnome stamp set that we the gnome suite of products that we had, but I'm just going to put 3, so 2 of the bigger ones and 1 of the smaller ones, just on this bottom left hand section, and then I do the same on the top right hand section, and then this little project is complete, and I think it's turned out really lovely. You can't actually see how nice it looks in the video, but I will try and post a picture at the end, and it will also be on my blog post. And as I said, this is a cutting file, so there will be more photographs of this finished project in the ScanNCut cutting file listing on my website at www.applelover53.co.uk. Click on the ScanNCut shop tab and then scroll to cutting files, and you'll find this 3D project. I do have another one, a letter M, that will be coming soon. I've just not posted it yet. But anyway, that's it. All decorated up, back and front, all the sides, top, inside, etc. All done. I hope you like it. Please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.